Friends, Jimmy LaRose here with Todd Isberner, Polaris Fundraising Worldwide and Share Media. We've been working together for years, assisting radio stations and television broadcasters, helping them realize their funding goals. You know, Todd, something that I'm afraid quite often that the stations or take for granted is, because we're doing a good work, it's important for you to give.
Yeah. Oh, listen, I think that whole dynamic is changing. At least if we have anything to say about it, it's going to change. I don't believe any longer it's effective to talk about us and what we need.
Right.
If I'm a listener, first of all, I'm listening in sound bites anyhow. And frankly, I don't care that much about you as much as I care about me and what I'm getting. It's just the way we are. We're selfish consumers, okay? In some ways that's okay because it's training us to be much more relational and looking at things from the outside in, no longer from the inside out. And I can't tell you how many times we will have to correct ourselves when we do fundraising on air about putting ourselves over on this side of the radio and addressing it from their standpoint. Somebody revolutionized my thinking a few years ago when they said, you know, the donor is not so interested in fulfilling your mission as they are fulfilling their mission through you.
Uh-oh.
And I thought, okay, so Christian radio really is all about impacting lives for Jesus Christ. So when we come in, we say, we got to have this and we need that and to do the work that we got to do.
Uh-oh.
No, it's you doing the work by way of your giving and your prayers and your partnership. And I think it flips things around in a way that is not just beneficial to the ministry, but important for the donor to know, I want to have an impact with my money.
We're always asking the question now, how can we help the donor accomplish the personal goals that God has called them to?
That's it, yeah.
Instead of it being institution-driven, it's about how can a person co-labor, walk alongside, volunteer, participate financially, and become part of the family.
I mean, let's face it, when a donor gives to Christian Radio, for example, they give for two reasons. One is they want to sustain that ministry into their own lives. But the number two reason is they want to provide that ministry into the lives of others. See, they already believe in the mission. That's not a problem. Now we got to assist them in fulfilling their mission to become part of impacting people for Christ through your ministry.
You know, I'm going to use this as an opportunity to explain practically what does it look like to be donor-centric as we approach a person and ask them to give a gift. We've talked before about the number one listener campaign. Instead of it being about the radio station, instead of it being about the annual fund, here's what the question was. Who is XYZ Radio Station's number one listener? And the answer to that question ended up being when an individual is in that point of nuance and obstacle and journey and pain, it's in that moment, in your greatest need, you'll know why this radio station is here. Because it's in that moment that you're our number one listener. Now, we ran those audios and then supported it with a direct mail campaign that answered the question. On the outside of the envelope it said, who is XYZ Radio Station's number one listener? Answers inside. And of course that message was communicated. We have seen a level of participation by donors, by churchgoers, by board members, by individuals that are in the listening audience, see a dramatic increase in income because it was about the listener.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, I think if we'll just put ourselves in their shoes, it makes a world of difference. Every time we do an on-air fundraising broadcast, when we bring some of our folks in to help out on the on-air portion, I'm drilling into their heads over and over and over again. You've got to put yourself in the place of that donor. If what you just said didn't motivate you as a listener,
that's great.
Then say something different.
Good.
Because you're just going to waste airtime otherwise. But here's the other thing I'm excited about is collaborating together. I mean, you've got great ideas, we've got great ideas combined. I don't know how many years of experience we have, probably too many that we'd want to talk about because we're getting old now. But I love the fact that there are so many more resources available that are, first of all, number one, not being utilized because they haven't been accessible, and two, not even been created yet.
Right.
But if you and I have anything to say about it, we'll get back to the lab and create things. So we're asking partners to not just stick with us, but let's explore together. How can we do a better job of making sense of this whole fundraising thing?
In a way that the actual broadcast entity, the radio station, can afford. We know that up to this point, it's been very expensive to be in relationships with agencies like us. So we look forward to spending time with you, better understanding the need of the broadcaster, see how we can serve.